Good afternoon, everyone. It's Dave from Dealing with Meniere with Dave. And today I wanted to make a little video. I was browsing around Facebook and some of the groups, and somebody had posted a question about sodium. How can they, not offend? They have Meniere's, just like we all do, or I do. And they asked, how can I tell a host, because they're on vacation and they're staying at someone's house, and how can I tell a host that, I need to have low salt, I have Meniere's disease, salt affects me? Well, one of the comments on this post was actually, it wasn't bad voicing their opinion, but they could have said it a little better. I'm not going to say it word for word, but basically, salt is a fallacy. It's a joke. It doesn't affect Meniere's. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Everybody's different. We all have the same disease. Everybody who has Meniere's disease has the same disease. We all have the same disease, but we're all different. Different things affect us. Okay? Now, salt doesn't bother me so much, but I don't use a lot of salt anyways because of my blood pressure. So I don't really use a lot of salt. But I know if I do have that salty food or that salty thing, it doesn't bother me. But caffeine, if I have more than 1 cup a day of coffee, caffeine bothers me. If I have more than 1 cup, or even if I have a soda, and I don't drink soda that often. It's very rare that I have a soda. I usually drink water, salsa water. But caffeine can sometimes cause me to have vertigo or ramp up my tinnitus or whatever. And I'm sure there's other foods. Some people probably have a problem with chocolate, or whatever. But we're all different, and everything affects us differently. And that's the one thing we all have to remember with Meniere's disease. It's not, everybody's different. It's like, what works for me when I'm in attack? When I have an attack. Okay, Valium works for me. CBD tincture works for me, which CBD tincture has THC in it. So that works for me if I have an attack. Meclizine, actually meclizine will make me fall asleep, so by the time I wake up I'm pretty much in a fog anyways. But there are other things. There are natural things that people do. The magnesium, I've heard, works. Excuse me. So there are a whole bunch of different things that, we're all different. Some people, surgery worked. Labyrinectomy worked for me for 11 months in my left ear, and now it's in my right. It moved to my right afterwards, which now I knew there was a risk. But that's okay. So some surgeries work. Some people use a wristband, a C-bond, I think it's called, that helps them to prevent vertigo. It doesn't do too much to me. I've tried it before. And even with tinnitus, some people use a thing called flavonoid, and that tends to help the tinnitus for some people. But everybody's different, and you have to remember that before you make a comment of saying something is a fallacy. Because just because it doesn't bother you doesn't mean it's going to bother somebody else. It's not going to bother somebody else. So you kind of got to be a little wary of what you say, and sometimes the way you say it, or the way you word it, with comments. Because let's face it, we're all here to help each other. We're not here to, one-up each other, or, make somebody feel bad. Because that's another thing that tends to, go around is, people always used to say, oh, words can't hurt you. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, yeah, words can hurt you. I hate to tell you. anything. So you kind of gotta watch what, watch how you say things, especially in support groups, because let's face it, we're all here to help each other. We're not here to put each other down. So, especially all of us who know what Meniere's is, and we know the suffering that we go through, and we don't always feel great. Okay. So yeah, just keep that in mind before you make comments and stuff like that. With any support group, even if it's on Facebook or other social media, Instagram, YouTube, which this is my YouTube channel, but you really have to be careful with what you say. So, let's go on. I want to go on about something else too, because I've talked about this before, and in my support groups that I have founded with my friend of mine, Gina Marie. Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. Sometimes you've got to push. No matter what it is, you got to push. But as I learned yesterday, you've got to push, but not full boat. For the last couple of weeks, my wife has been going through an illness. And so I'm really want her to rest and this and that. So I'm running around, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm driving locally to do errands and bring my kid to work or whatever. Just so she can have her time to rest and get better and everything else. I can't, say what it is, and I'm not going to, but she needs to rest when she can. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been, driving, running here, running there, driving local, running errands, doing shopping, plus what I have to do, which is, record mass at my church and edit and all that and blah, 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 blah. Well, 2 weeks of that, and yesterday I tanked. I had vertigo. I had a mini attack because that is one of my triggers, is stress. And I have the biggest problem with my own self because, if I'm feeling pretty good, then I think I can do anything. So I run around, and then burn myself out. So yesterday, yes, was a very bad day for me. Luckily, my wife was feeling good, and, so she was cooking and doing whatever. She was having a good day yesterday. So, and the thing is, stress is a trigger for me. So stress could be a trigger for you, too. Doesn't necessarily mean it is. But you got to be careful. That's the other thing, with this disease. I've had it now, diagnosed 4 years. And I've had symptoms for 3 years, so before that. So we're going to say 7. I've had it 7 years. And even now, I still get into this mode. And maybe, I wasn't feeling all that great, but because I knew what I had to do for my family, that I the adrenaline started running and stuff like that, until yesterday, when I tanked. So if stress is one of those things that triggers you, yeah, let's try to cool yourself. Don't always try to fake it till you make it. If you can't do something, don't. If you don't feel comfortable driving because you don't feel that good, don't drive. But for the most part, I handled everything pretty well, but it was still pretty stressful. So, you need to relax sometimes and take that downtime. Don't always run around like crazy because the stress can get to you. So, a couple of things here to remember. One is we're all different. Okay? We all have the same thing, but we're all different. We all respond differently to different things. Salt affects some people, caffeine affects some people, the medications could affect some people. So we're all different. Some foods, can affect people that have high salt content. But just because salt doesn't affect you doesn't mean it doesn't affect it. Just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean that, that means that salt's not going to affect me either. It can. So on that note, have a good day. I'm hoping to do more videos in the future. I know it's been like a week or two, but like I said, my wife has been going through some stuff, and so I've been really, really busy. So on that note, take care. Next time, have a spin-free week. If I don't make a video this week, happy 4th of July to all the people in the United States, and I'll see you later down the line. Take care.